Happy Thursday to you. This week it's the last week of the quarter. And it's the last week before spring break. Yes. Week 27. The worksheet has the yellow one. That's the Unit 7 review. That one will be due tomorrow. Remember that the answers are at the bottom of the back side of that one. Oops, this should be Unit 7, not Unit 8. That is tomorrow. That's going to be Friday. And then any and all missing work is also going to be due tomorrow at 3 p.m. So for some of you, that's a lot of time that needs to be spent in the MRC before Friday at 3 p.m. For some of you, that's a lot of time outside of the MRC, getting homeworks fixed, formatives fixed, all that fun stuff, so that we have that all due Friday, 3 p.m. to me. Okay? So today, I want to go over some sample problems of types of things that you might have tomorrow on the test. Okay? I won't be doing any word problems today, but there will be some word problems on the test tomorrow, so make sure that you have done those on the review assignment. Okay? So the first topic that we started with in this unit was dealing with arithmetic sequences. Now remember, arithmetic, that means arithmetic means that we are adding because it starts with A. Okay? So what I would like you to do on this one is, or we'll do it together, is I want you to find these these four different things over here on the side. So the first one is, I want you to find the rule. Well, in order to find the rule, we're first going to need to find D. So the common difference D is going to be the difference between two terms. So it takes me 9 to get to that one. It takes me 9 to get to that one. So my common difference D would be 9. Okay? So that answers that question. So the next thing we should do then is we should find our rule. So in order to find the rule, remember that term, and this will be on your test on Friday, is going to be, there's the general rule for that one. I know my first term is 8. I know my common difference is 9. So that could be a rule, but ideally, we would make it nice and pretty, and we'd say 9n minus 1, where we distribute in this 9 into those two, combine those like terms, and get 9n minus 1. So this, like this. So that is my rule. Then it said, now that we have the rule, now let's find the 22nd term. So if I'm using my rule, then I would have 9 times 22 and minus 1. 9 times 22 is 198, minus 1 tells me that the 22nd term then is 197. So we found that. Then it said, find the sum of the first 25 terms. Well, the sum of any number of terms is going to be n divided by 2 times the first term plus the last term. Well, I know that n is 25, so I would and I know that my first term is 8, I would just have to use my rule here to figure out the 25th term. 9 times 25 is 225, minus 1 is 224. So the sum here then would be 25 divided by 2 times 8 plus 224. 8 plus 224 is 232 times 25 over 2 tells me that the sum of the first 25 terms is 2,900. And we found that. Again, sorry, there was just an announcement being over the PA, so I paused it and then I forgot where I was. So I think what I was going to say was this rule and this rule will be given to you on the test on Friday. So that concludes arithmetic. We did all that stuff with arithmetic. There will be another arithmetic problem here coming up, but for right now, that concludes that. Then we moved on to geometrics, okay? And with geometrics then, now we are multiplying to get the next term. And so again, using the same kind of a thing here, let's find the rule, find R, find G sub 8, and find the sum of the first 10 terms. We can handle that. So let's start with by finding R. What do I multiply to get this one? Well, that would be multiplying by 6. So then I check it. 18 or negative 18 times 6 is negative 108. So 6 is my R value. What I multiply by to get the next term. Then we need to find the rule. So G sub n is going to be G sub 1 times R to the n minus 1 power. This one is a little easier to find, especially given the first 4 terms of the sequence. So G sub n is going to be negative 3 times my R value to the n minus 1 power. And the other nice thing is there's only one geometric sequence in the series, provided that there's only one R value. So there's our rule. Then we can utilize our rule to find G sub 8. So that would be negative 3 times 6 to the 8 minus 1 power, which is going to be negative 3 times 6 to the 7th power. So G sub 8 is going to be 6 raised to the 7th power is 279,936 times negative 3 would be negative 839,808. And then lastly, we were asked, or I am asking you to find the sum of the first 10 terms. Well, remembering that the sum of any term is going to be the first term times r to the n power minus 1 all over r minus 1. The other one, both of them will be given to you on the test, would be g sub n times r minus g sub 1 all over r minus 1. So you can use either one of those. I prefer the top one. So the sum of the first 10 terms is going to be negative 3, because that's my first term, times 6 raised to the 10th power, then minus 1, all over 6 minus 1. So 6 to the 10th power is a rather large number. Then I subtract 1 from it. Then I multiply it by negative 3. And then I divide it by 5. And I get the sum of the first 10 terms is negative 36,279,705. Again, those can get real big, real fast. And there we go. The third topic is infinite geometric sequences. Now remember, these only work, we can only find the sum of these if the absolute value of r is less than 1. If the absolute value of r is bigger than 1 or bigger than 1, can't do it, can't find it. Okay? Now there's some funky numbers going on here, and so what we can do, remember, is we can find r by taking any term and dividing it by the term right before it. And so on and so forth. And when we do that, I get here an r value of negative 3/5. So there, we found r. Negative 3/5 is a fraction with an absolute value that is smaller than 1. So we can find the sum. The sum of the infinite geometric sequence is going to be my first term divided by 1 minus r. Well, my first term is 7.2. 1 minus negative 3/5 is like 1 plus 3/5. So this would be 7.2 divided by 8/5. And I would get there then 4.5. I jumped just on that one. Working fine all day, and then it jumped on that one. 2 more. Finding a rule given the fact that you have 2 terms somewhere along in the sequence. So this one, remember, was we would take the first term that's given, and we would apply our rule to it. So that's going to be 277 is, I don't know what the first term is. I don't know what D is, but I know that 277 is the 15th term. So N is 15. So this gives me 277 is the first term plus 14 Ds. Then I go to the second term that's given, and I do the same thing. 757 is going to be the first term, which I don't know, plus d, which I don't know, times 39. I know that is n because it's the 39th term, minus 1. So 757 is going to be my first term plus 38 d's. I'm going to leave the green one the same, but I'm going to multiply the blue one by negative 1. Add those two together, and 757 plus negative 277 is 480. 38d minus 14d would be 24d, and 480 divided by 24 is 20. So my common difference is 20. Knowing that, I can put that back into either one, blue or green, and solve for a sub 1. 14 times 20 is 280. Subtracting 280 from both sides, I get negative 3 is my first term. Combination of those two tells me then that my rule is going to be negative 3 plus 20 times n minus 1, or, more preferred, 20n minus 23. And that's that one. Same thing going on here with the geometrics. Okay? So once again, you're going to apply the rule. G sub n is g sub 1 times r to the n minus 1 power. You're first going to apply it to the first term. So 1 is g sub 1 times r to the 3 minus 1 power, or r squared. Then you're going to apply it to the second term. Then we take the one with the smallest exponent and we solve it for g sub 1, which then we plug in to the other equation. Six r's on top divided by 2 r's gives me 4 r's left over. So 81 is r to the 4th. And then when I take the 4th root, 1, I get plus or minus because I'm taking the 4th root. And 2, the exponents go away. So I have an r value of 3, and I have an r value of negative 3. Now, when I plug those values back into my equation, I would have to plug them in twice. Positive 3 would give me 1/9 for my first term. Negative 3 3 would give me 1/9 for my first term. So my two rules, because I had two R values, my two rules are going to be 1/9 times 3 to the n minus 1 and negative 3 to the n minus 1. Those are my two rules. Yep. Test is tomorrow. You should utilize the remainder of the hour today to work on finishing the yellow sheet and correcting any formatives, etc. Any old homeworks that need to be corrected and fixed, all that fun stuff. Okay? Thanks for playing along.